All right, so we have solved systems by graphing. Graph two lines, see where they cross. Now we're going to solve the same systems algebraically. We're going to have two methods to do that, and today we're going to look at the first one on substitution. So there's your date, and here we go. Let's put these steps in your notes. It might not make sense right now, but as we go through a couple examples, I'll explain what all this means. So first thing you're going to do is solve for the loneliest variable. I'll show you what that means with an example. Feel free to pause and write this down as much as you need. After you do that, you substitute the new equation into the other equation. This is how it gets its name because of this substitute step. That allows you to solve for a variable. At this point, you'll have either the x or the y, and then you plug it back in to get your solution in the end, some xy ordered pair. All right, so here's our system of equations solved by substitution. So we're looking to get either an ordered pair, xy, or maybe if these lines are parallel, it could be no solution, or if they're the same line, it could be infinite solutions. So algebraically, we're going to get one of those three answers. So the first step that you guys wrote down said to solve for the loneliest variable. A lonely variable is just going to be something that doesn't have a number in front of it, like these x's. You can see you have this y and this y that don't have anything with it, so those are considered lonely. I'm going to go ahead and pick this top y. It doesn't matter which one you pick. I'll just rewrite this over here. Negative 2x plus y equals 8. We have to solve for this y, that lonely variable. The reason why we pick that is you can solve for it in one step and you will avoid fractions. So we'll add 2x to both sides. That cancels, leaving us with y equals 2x plus 8. All right, so now we have solved for our loneliest variable. What I do after I get that y equals by itself, it could be x equals, it doesn't matter which one, I put a box around this. This is a big visual thing that helps me out. So y is equal to 2x plus, is equal to 2x plus 8. So now comes the substitution step. I'm going to take this 2x plus 8 and I substitute it into this other equation. So the question is, should it go in for the x or should it go in for the y? Well, because it's y equals, we're going to take this 2x plus 8 and we're going to put it in for the y. So we rewrite that equation, 3x plus, now instead of the y, we're going to plug in a 2x plus 8, and then we keep writing the rest of the equation equals negative 2. All right, so what we just did is we got our lonely variable by itself, we put a box around it, we substituted that into the other equation. You don't want to put it back into the same one. The problem's not going to work out if you do that. You have to put into the other equation for the y because it was y equals. So if you notice, here's our 3x plus. There's 3x plus down here. Now we've replaced the y with the 2x plus 8 and then equals negative 2. This gives us an equation that we can solve for x. You might have some like terms to combine. So we have 5x plus 8 equals negative 2. And now it's just a two-step equation to solve for x. So we'll subtract 8, 5x equals negative 10, and then divide by 5, and we get x equals negative 2. So it looks like we're getting this answer right here. If you're able to solve for the x or y, you're going to have an ordered pair for your solution. So our answer, I know, is going to be the x is a negative 2. The question is, what is the y? So to get the y, all we do is we take this negative 2 and you plug it back in. The easiest thing to do is to plug it back into the box because that is already solved for y. Y equals 2 times x plus 8. Well, we know that x is a negative 2, so 2 times negative 2 plus 8, negative 4 plus 8, we're getting y equal to 4. So there is our solution. These two lines will cross, and they're going to cross at that point. All right, this is the last video, or the last slide for the intro video, there are 2 more videos to watch, and I kind of skipped around a couple things on this intro video, knowing that I'll talk about it in a different video. So again, we're going to solve the system. We're looking for either an ordered pair, maybe they're parallel lines and there's no solution, or maybe they're the same line and it's infinite solution. So one of those 3 things will happen with this system of equations. So solve by substitution. First step, solve for the loneliest variable. Well, we've got 3. You've got a y over here, you've got an x, and you've got a y. This x is kind of lonely, but it has that negative in front, so it's got a friend. So we're looking at these 3. You notice how this y is already solved for, y equals x minus 1. So that first step of solve for the loneliest variable is already done. Y equals x minus 1, so we put a box around x minus 1. Now this x minus 1 will get substituted into this bottom equation. Because it's y equals, it's going to go in for the y. So then we just rewrite the equation. Negative x plus, so we just did this negative x plus. Now instead of this y, we're replacing it with x minus 1, and then we continue writing our equation equals 2. Alright, so solve your equation for x, combine your like terms. You may notice right here you've got a negative x plus x. Well, negative x plus x equals 0. They actually cancel each other out. If you notice, we have our equation. Let's write down the numbers that are left over. Negative 1 equals 2. So because the x's are gone from the equation, if you look over here in the corner, we've got these 3 things. We're trying to figure out which one it is. It can't be the one with the xy coordinate because the x's are gone. There's nothing left to solve for. So these lines do not cross. They're either parallel lines for our no solution, or they're the same line for the infinite solution. So how do you tell which one it will be? What you want to do is you just want to look at the numbers that you have left over. We're saying that negative 1 is equal to 2. Is that a true statement? And because that's not true, that's false, that means that there is no solution. If you were to graph these 2 lines, they would be parallel. So the answer we write is no solution. So we got that one. One of the other videos you'll watch will cover what happens, what does an infinite solution look like. So when you're solving by substitution, if your variables cancel on you, it's got to be one of these 2 down here. If you're able to solve for x or y, then you continue and figure out both the x and the y.